If you're in a home service business, your phone system is likely the single most expensive leak in your entire company. I want to show you the exact architect of a client of mine making $2 million a year. And guess what? He has zero missed calls. It sounds impossible, but it's just AI and logic. And hey, if we haven't met yet, I am Mo, and over the past year, I've been working with home service businesses to optimize their phone operations through AI to make sure that every call that comes in is actually being answered. Now, to understand why this system is actually working, we need to understand what is the problem that most HVAC businesses are facing. Let's dive right in. Now, let's start by looking at how most HVAC businesses are actually operating. So we can imagine that the phone is starting to ring, the person is calling. We can see that the receptionist is busy. Maybe it's lunchtime, they're not there. So the voice basically goes, hopefully, to voicemail because 80% of callers just hang up and never basically refer back. And perhaps the message has been checked end of the day or maybe next morning. And then maybe someone actually, if they remember, will call back. And let's say that they actually call back. What happens is that we also need to properly transcribe everything in our CRM. So we have a proper note and record it properly, and hopefully by that, we're able to basically get someone if we did a good job. And if we, of course, didn't, that's all lost revenue. Now, let's picture a case that we every day are losing just one call per day. And let's say that the average value per customer is actually $800. And if we go and add everything up, like per year, that's going to be around and almost $300,000 that is just walking away as your competitor. Because you can imagine, like, if someone is having an issue with their AC or their furnace, they're just gonna go on Google Maps, they're just gonna scroll through, get the first business, call them, they don't respond, we go to the next and the next and the next. So basically, if you're in there, it's in your best interest to pick any call that comes in. Now, let me walk you through on how AI can really fix this problem. Now, step number one, a inbound call is coming. What happens is that we take the call that is coming from, let's say you have your own phone number. The call comes into your phone number, as in what we do is that we transfer that call to an AI system. And this AI system is basically going to pick up, and that's basically step number two. And in less than a second, I mean, there is no hold music, no press one. It's going to greet you with a personalized greeting. So, for example, thanks for calling ABC Heating. How can I help you today? So it's just going to be very professional, customized to your tone of voice and the way that you communicate with your customers. And it just able to work around the clock, 24/7, after hours, during the day, even. So really how you like it to be set up. Some people, for example, prefer to have it working only in after hours because they have a whole range of team that is already picking up the calls. Or some other people like to have the receptionist, of course, take any call. And if they are not present, so perhaps they are in lunchtime or just away for a second, they want the AI to pick up. Other companies prefer to have an AI first approach where the AI agent will basically take in the call. It will understand what the person actually wants, because a lot of the times people get spammed a lot. And if it is a spam, we just want to filter that. If it's not a spam, then we're going to redirect to the right person, right department, um, who it is that we want to call. So different approaches for different companies, that is, but definitely I can play a role in any situation that a company is in. Now, we picked up the call. Now, what we want to do is to quote unquote filter. So that means that we're wanting to understand, like, what is the service area? So we can see whether we can actually serve you based on where you're located. Are you a residential or commercial business? That is a really important because some companies can serve either one or the other, or perhaps both. And then definitely understand if it's an emergency or if we just need to schedule an appointment. And both of these things can basically be done. So, for example, if it's an emergency, we definitely don't want the AI to take the call. We want a actual human to handle emergency cases. So that means that the AI would basically transfer to the person that is on call to answer that emergency. If it is scheduled, then we will basically go ahead and move to scheduling. If someone doesn't qualify, so for example, it's a spam call, then what we're going to do is just politely end the call there. Now let's go to the scheduling, and that's step number 4. So scheduling allows us, and the way that it works, it's actually very intuitive. So that means that the AI will ask, "Hey, when would you like, to schedule your appointment?" And the user basically says, "Hey, what about tomorrow at 3 p.m.?" What happens is that the AI is going to first check into your calendar. So, for example, maybe you use Service Titan. We're going to check, "Hey, what is our availability for tomorrow at 3 p.m.?" It basically checks and it sees, perhaps actually we're busy, but it also sees that tomorrow at 4 p.m. we're actually free. So say, I'm sorry, tomorrow we're busy at 3 p.m. What about if we do it at 4? And it basically does this back and forth with the user. And once they find, let's say, a slot that actually works, then what we can do is, the AI will say that it will go ahead and actually book the appointments into the calendar. And when it comes to actually booking into the calendar, some people like it so that, it pre books an appointment, it creates a slot, and then an actual human will confirm. Some other people prefer to actually have the AI book the appointment and even have a technician be assigned depending on the availability of the technician, and how much data, let's say, is in the CRM. Some people prefer to have everything being handled directly to the AI. Um, yeah, again, different approaches for different companies. Now, after the scheduling has happened, as I mentioned, comes the CRM update. So that means that we have collected all this information from the call. Of course, we need to understand whether this is someone who we already have in our database. So what we can do is, for example, have a look at the phone number that called us and check in the database. Hey, is this person actually present already, or is it a previous uh, person that we served? So we do a CRM lookup. If it is someone who is there, we will basically update the information. Um, Create a new, let's say, log for that. If it's someone new, then we would have to create a new user. So add the name, phone number, address, all the information that we basically have collected during the call. And the beautiful thing is that AI is really good at, creating and logging and transcribing all the data in a way that is consistent, that is professional, that is tailored to the way that you actually work. Sometimes humans might be a little, in a rush or tired. So there might be some inconsistency on how the work is being documented. In that, AI is a really good use case on, picking up basically the call transcript. And on the call transcript, basically, you're able to create, beautiful summaries and properly log how the conversation went. And now let's say that the call has been, let's say, finished. So we recorded everything, we scheduled, we got everything in the CRM. We need to alert people about dispatch. So we need to let the technician know that, hey, there is this job and you have this appointment and all the details. And same goes for the person that booked the basically job. So we let everyone know and get a confirmation about the dispatch. Now, follow up sequence, that means that we want to make sure that the job has been booked and we definitely want the person to show up. That can also be for the technician. So we want to alert both, but especially for the customer and client, we definitely want to do a bit of a combo where we send them SMS, but also we just try to call them. And the beautiful thing is that when we call them, and that can be, you know, day one, day two, or we can kind of like plan it in a customized way. But the beautiful thing is that we can combine it between SMS and calls. And in the call, what's beautiful is that we can even ask them, "Hey, are you available tomorrow?" And if they say no, we can actually tell them, "Hey, okay, if you're not available tomorrow, how about we reschedule and we do it for another day?" And you can already right there and then just reschedule directly and save yourself from a potential no show. Now, let's say that that was actually a no show. What you can do for dead leads is that we can try to reactivate them. That means that, and that is for anyone that perhaps booked, but even for people who have maybe have called us, and they're just, asking for some specific information. What we can do is just have them in our database and systematically, every 30 days, 60 days, or whatever, just re-engage them through different offers and campaigns. So from anyone that has called us, we have, of course, logs of them in the CRM, and we're able to systematically nurture them and follow up with them in order to, at some point, have new deals coming in from these follow up sequences. Yeah. So the key takeaways of this, let's say, AI native approach is that the system is not the asset, but the tool. That means that, sorry, the system is the asset, not the tool. That means that tools, of course, on their own are very useful, but the real juice comes in how you can connect these tools and make them work together. And in that, automation and AI is really good at connecting all these tools together so that we can actually get a full fledged system that can work autonomously and can really be efficient in our business. And speed is really important, especially home service businesses. As I mentioned before, if you do not respond to that call in the beginning, they will never show up. So being able to be there when they ask for you and they call you is really important to actually secure the job. Else they will just go to the next competitor on Google Maps. And last but not least, it's really important to stress that AI does not replace the team. I mean, it gives them leverage. That's also what I like to recommend because some people are overly excited about AI, but it's always a smart idea to have a receptionist. Perhaps you don't need a whole team, right? Like you might need, one, two, but it's really important to always have humans because, of course, we need to transfer them when there is, for example, an emergency. That's of course a given. But what AI allows the team to do is to work on more important tasks than answer spams, for example, or just work on menial follow-up calls that might be tedious just to follow up with people. Hey, tomorrow we have an appointment. Are you actually going to come? Like these are calls that can just be handled by AI. It sees the appointments 12 hours before. It just calls. So it's more systematic instead of just having a way that is, it's a manual of us having to follow up manually to these people and remind them of having a potential job. Now, that was a snapshot of what's possible with AI in terms of handling your AI in your phone systems. And if you want to have a chat and see whether this is a direction that you would like to take your company into, then I do offer free consultation slots, which you can find in the first link in the description. And I would love to see you there. So that's that. And if you want to see how we built an entire membership reactivation system for one of our HVAC clients, then I do invite you to watch this video right here. See you there.